Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. This is Birds of Feather Podcast with your boy Q City down for the first Hawks podcast of the year, episode 98. Trade the truth, right? So let's get into it. Right. So the Hawks sitting at 3-3 for the year. Um, if you've been following me after the lives of each game, I've kind of given my takes. I've got some through six game consistent themes that I'm seeing. Usually, this will go live on Thursday and then we'll drop on Friday. Uh, might have some people on over the course of the year. Taj probably isn't going to join us for this one, but we will see if we can get some guests, maybe a second person. Point of the thing is, I'm just going to go through kind of the weekend review, talk about the games, the flow, how they went, what some team news is going to be, where we stand in the division and conference, and then what's going in the coming week. Right. Usually try to keep these around 30 minutes. I feel like that's nice and sweet. If I catch a tangent, I'm gonna catch a tangent, and that's just me. If you've listened to me for any point in time, that's pretty normal, right? Um, for the live capabilities, if anybody hops in the chat and they want to say something, I definitely, like go off on it. I'm very interactive in that regard, but as always, follow us on at BOAF Media on all social media platforms. DMs are wide open. If you want to get anything, put anything in there. That's what we call city talk. At the end, I'll definitely discuss any of those points. So don't have anything on that regard right now. So just hopping straight into the pot. Hawks are sitting at 3-3. Started the season with a bad loss to the Raptors. I didn't go live on that Thursday just because I felt like it was only one game, right? I did my live reaction after, and I didn't think that we really need to talk. I saw some alarming traits in that game, right? Uh, Definitely the points in the paint was a big factor in that game. Uh, our defense was terrible. I spoke on the fact that we really had a high pace offense for that game. And there was no reason to do that because the Raptors aren't a team that's like really prolific from three, right? Or have um a very structured half court offense. Going into a game in which we're running up and down with them plays right into their hand. Like we're playing their game instead of ours. And I think that's referenced by the fact that we are Toronto's only win of the season. Toronto beat us, hadn't won a game since 1-5. It's stuff like that that makes you be like, man, we are not a team who beats who we're supposed to beat. Um, and we changed that a little later in the season, but that was really frustrating. Now we beat Orlando in our second game, right? Moved us to 1-1. Orlando can't really score. That has been a problem with them. Bencaro is scoring. T-Rex arms is stretching the defense a little bit better. Bane, oh boy, did they miss him in Memphis. Memphis is going through it. Um, but Bane is spreading the defense a little bit better. What's his name? He's a twin. Came from Michigan. I can tell you everything about this dude, but his name, is it Wentz? It's not Wentz. Wagner. There it goes. Franz Wagner. Franz he's stretching the defense. He's looking good inside outside game. I think those two together, especially being healthy this season, Orlando is a dangerous team. They only got 3 wins right now, but they are a dangerous team. Um, and then I look at Jalen Suggs on that team as well, point of attack ball stopper. We kind of got out of there hair by our chinny chin chin, to be honest with you. Then we played the Thunder. That game looked terrible. The Thunder looked like world champs. We look like an also ran franchise. Kind of makes you see like how far we are away from really being in any serious like championship contention conversations, right? We might just struggle to make the playoffs consistently. So yeah, the Thunder beat the brakes off of us. But then we lost to Chicago. And honestly, the Chicago loss doesn't look that bad now. Chicago is one of those teams that we always kind of played close to the vest. I will say they came back on us. I think our largest lead in that game was like 13 points, and they came back on us, walked us down, won late, and created a little barrier on it. But Chicago seems like they're a good team. One of the few teams that's 5-0 right now. So, that Chicago loss may not be as bad as initially thought, but like we'll see throughout the season. Once we got off that snide, we're 1-3 at the time. We faced the Nets. It's a get right game, baby. The Nets are terrible this season. You got Michael Porter Jr., who, can shoot the hell out of a ball, but they're really struggling pretty much on all regards. And then Cam Thomas, I feel like, is going through a lot of what I talk about with Ricochet, but in terms of Gil said it, he scores 20 points, but his 20 points look selfish. And I think that hurt him a lot in negotiations. And you can see how he's playing. That's what his mindset is on, is that he wants to change his view of being a selfish player. But in that, he's passing up parts of his offense that, like, you have him on the floor for, right? Like Michael Pickens Jr. scored 32. I think Cam was at like 17 for a minute. And it's like, you don't have Cam Thomas on the floor score 17 on that Nets team. Cam Thomas scoring 17, passing the ball on, as a second or third option on the Nuggets. Absolutely. You take that every day of the week. That is a $100 million player. Cam Thomas scored 17 points on a Nets team that nobody else can score the ball. Like, I don't even know if you re-sign that player for 20 mil a year. You know what I'm saying? Let alone, 35, 40 that he'd be looking for. Like, nah. So, yeah, that's not to speak too much on other teams, but like you could tell that's kind of like is in how he's playing. But the biggest thing to come out in this game is 7 minutes in, Trae gets rolled up on. Knee hyperextends, looks really, really ugly. He takes a minute, lays on the floor. He gets up, runs down the court. Immediately after he runs down the court, he just goes straight to the locker room. Recognizes like, yeah, I can't continue with this. This is not okay. This is not good. Leaves the floor. Done. Right. Really, really scared for the game at that point. But we managed to pull that out. We win against the Nets. They make a little comeback at the end, but we're able to stave them off. Keep going. You go against the Pacers. Now, the Pacers, you go into the game knowing that you don't have Trae. It is a group game, right? So, that's Thursday? Yeah. Very important or it happened on a Friday. It's very important for the cup games, right? You want to make sure that you keep your group stage good and you win the games you're supposed to win because these games still count towards your season record. Blow the Pacers out, right? League gets up to the highest, I think it's 23. You win the game by 20. Your rookies get in late. It's like, beautiful, great win, right? Only thing is, still hadn't heard nothing about Trae. Now, Trae gets hurt in the Nets game on, when is that? Wednesday? Yeah, he got hurt in the Nets game on Wednesday. It is Saturday, and we're just now getting actually this I think will drop on Sunday. We're just now getting word of what went wrong. So he has an MCL strain. When you hear a ligament strain, it is usually a small or partial tear, right? Straining a joint usually means that there is some sort of there's some sort of structural issue or damage there that requires surgery, but is not like playable. So an MCL strain occurs when the ligament is stretched or torn, typically due to twisting inward force of the knee. So if you have an MCL strain, it really is like a small tear, right? That ligament is stretched, it's torn, it's thin around that area. Here's the thing about that. That's usually that's usually a precursor to it tearing, one. But then two, there's no real way to necessarily strengthen that. You can rest it, but then you have to manage it like all year. And 9 times out of 10, that's usually an all season surgery. If you get a strain, MCL strain, end in surgery. Most of the MCL strains do not end in surgery. They can heal with rest, ice, physical therapy. Uh, Non-surgical treatment, use rice, use a brace. Trae having a brace would be that'd be kind of rough. But activity, you can expect gradual return to activities. So it's something that you'll have to manage over several months, right? Range of motion is tough. And I'm saying this as somebody like I love hooping, I love playing football. My knees are cooked like goose egg, baby. It's over for the boys. Um, but I've also had like multiple car accidents and stuff like that. Like my meniscus are gone, MCL strain tears, like ACL tear. I've had all that jazz, right? And with that, you understand that like full regain function is highly limited. I hope Trae doesn't have to go through any of that. Now, to be fair, Trae is athletic, but he is not hyper athletic and reliant on his like leaping ability. It's more so like lateral movement, and his ability to control the ball, push with force from deep. It's not like he does jump passes every now and then, but he doesn't necessarily like live above the rim. Um, so maybe not super concerned about his longevity and his ability to come back from this, but like knee injuries are always a thing that make you a little worrisome. Trae is supposed to be out for like 4 weeks, is what they say, or they'll reevaluate in 4 weeks. But reevaluating in 4 weeks just means like, what am I looking at? How many games am I looking at in 4 weeks? He's already missed one, so you're looking at two. You're looking at 3 games, 4 games, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16 games. 16 games before they reevaluate him. And then it'll probably be a gradual return from that. So, Trae might miss 20 to 24, 25 games. That's a good chunk. That's a good chunk of the season, especially we played 6. So we missed 25. That's missing 31 games on the season. Trae is not somebody who misses a ton of games. He plays 73 plus for like 2 or 3 seasons in a row now. And even before then, he plays 60 most times. So like for him to miss 30 games, be down to like 50, 55, that's a huge drop for him. I would, but I want him back healthy, right? If he can get back before January, like really truly back before January, that'd be awesome. Or even like Christmas would be ideal, but like getting back before January would be awesome. Holding court while he's out is crucial. This is where like a lot of guys need to step up, right? So right now, if you look at our offense, and Trae notoriously has slow starts to seasons, but with him, you look at our offense, we're 18th in points per game, 19th in rebounds per game, 18th in opponents' points per game. Like we're like slightly a below average team in pretty much all regards. If you look at it from a defensive point of view, we're allowed damn near 120 points a game. Like with the Pacers, we kept them to 108, but like, bro, we're allowing a crap ton of points. And a lot of it is happening inside the paint. Our paint presence has been extremely lacking this year. We chase blocks. We chase blocks hard, but we're not really diverting attention at the rim as much as you would want to. We allow guys to put a lot of pressure on the rim. Now, I know a lot of this is skewed from the Raptors game at the beginning of the season, right? The Raptors were able to put a beating on us in terms of points in the paint. But Orlando was able to do that as well. Orlando does have a 6'10" ball handler who thrives on rim pressure, but he didn't have a great game, right? Franz wasn't really there. It We're not really making anybody not come into the paint. We're getting hella paint touches, but we're not getting killed on the three as much as you would think we would. With allowing, usually when you're allowing points in the paint like that, you're guarding the three at a high level. We do have good perimeter defenders, right? And so we're chasing them off the three, funnel them inside, but we really don't have anybody to redirect at the rim. Porzingis is not really that. Now he chases blocks a lot, right? We're susceptible to second passes, especially when someone puts 2 feet in the paint, like real bad, real bad. It is almost telegraphed how much somebody can get a pass behind our defense. But point of attack, ball defenders, it makes a lot of sense. Now, in Trae's absence, we started Naw, right? If that's going to be if that's going to be the starting lineup, Naw, Dyson, well, Dyson at the point technically, but Dyson, Naw, Jalen, Reach, Jalen, and then Porzingis. I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually would prefer Luke to start and Reach come off the bench. If you've heard me from any point in time, I have been a huge Zachary Richardson supporter. When we got the number 1 overall pick, I was super excited. I thought we would go Alex Sarr. We picked Zachary Richardson. He showed multiple times last year who he was and what he could bring to the table. Now, once we got Caris LeVert, right, it kind of diminished his role a bit, right? And then, the bright lights of the playoff situation, he shrunk. He's a rookie, it happens, right? But, Gay shrunk, Mo Gay shrunk, and he shrunk in that playoff game against Miami, that playing game. But overall, over the course of the season, he had some big shots. He's knockdown shooter. He shows some ability to cut toward the rim. All those facets of his game are leaving right now, and I feel like it's because he's being relegated to kind of just a spot up shooter. Once Caris got on the team, what you saw is Caris' ability to be a wing that handles the ball and gets most of his offense off the dribble, forces Reach to clear the lane, not make diving cuts behind, but be an option if Caris, or in this situation, gets stuck and needs a bailout pass, right? Well, if your man is hugging you, right, and trusting the one-on-one defender, or just truly just being like, hey, if he cooks, right, and he takes a tough mid-range, or he gets all the way to the basket, and we trust our interior defense, well, then I'm hugging you. Even when you're that pass out option, your man is right there. You're not going to take a contested corner or wing three, and it's like he's getting caught on that left side so much in the left corner or the left wing, and like those are good percentage shots for him, right, overall, but like he's passing them off. He's passing them off consistently because like it's pressured. Why I'm saying move him to the second unit is what you saw. He scored 8 quick points without Jalen on the floor, with no Trae on the floor, right? But he's the focal point of offense in that regard, right? Working with Wallace. Wallace is not a primary true option scorer, right? And you're gonna stagger Naw and Jalen's minutes now because like those are your most consistent scorers at this point in time. KP, he's really being a spot up 3 guy, and like you get him top of the key, you can run a bit of offense through him, but like he might be averaging 16, 18, but it can't be super high. Let's see. Roster. We got I don't need to look up roster. I need to look up players. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Yeah, Porzingis scoring 19 points a game. And they're good. They're good 19 points, right? On 50% shooting, 44% from 3. But like when you watch him play, it's pretty obvious that he's he's kind of just spotting up and shooting. He's trailing plays a lot. Nikhil Alexander Walker, no, he's giving you 17 points on 43, 30% from three, but I feel like that's a bit misleading. He's your chucker late in situations. Reach is all the way down to 10 points, right? Now, he's shooting 35% on threes, which isn't terrible, but the 40% from the field is a real game changer for me, right? He was up there at like last season, I don't know the exact number, but he had other facets to his game. So it wasn't even necessarily that he was shooting a great percentage, but like he took a mid-range shot. It doesn't even feel like he's taking a mid-range shot this year. Going towards the rim has been non-existent. He's not crashing behind. He's not following shots. And then on the defensive end, Siakam was eating his lunch. Porter tore him up, right? So those were two back-to-back, like really tough defensive assignments for him. But what I noticed last year is that like once his defense gets rolling, he's really able to focus on the offensive end. And that's what you saw in just that little stretch, right? That 8-point stretch. What you saw was that got a bucket, got a three. Defense led to offense, got a quick two. We all had a good defensive possession. He was the leak out, stop, pop, transition three. Quick 8 points. And it's like his defense fuels his offense. He's got to be in the game. He's got to touch the ball. Now, I know there's like a contingent out there that's like, oh, give Reach more touches. And then the opposing point is like, well, what's he going to do with those touches besides DHOs or shoot up a BS3? And it's like, I get you because like that's what you're seeing in the offense, but that's what you're seeing in the offense that's primarily featuring Jalen as a primary scorer, ball distributor, handler, right? Like, and Jalen to me was on an all-star trajectory last year. Very well should be an all-star this year. He's gotta up his scoring tick, which very well may hurt Reach a little bit more, right? But if Jalen gets to 25, right, he's averaging like 7 and 7. I very hard to keep him off the all-star team unless those stats just like do not translate to winning. In these 25 games without Trae, if you go 10 and 15, that's 13 and 18. I think you might get there. I think you might get there. But in these 25 games, if you go anything below 10 is going to be hard, right? Anything below 10 is going to be hard to justify you really being an all-star. Anything above 15 really push you in different conversations. And I love Jalen, but I don't think he's there yet, right? I don't think he's an all-star starter. I think he's all-star reserve. I think this first year he definitely is on par and track for that. And I think Reach has the capability to do so, right? Like he's age 20 this year. He's 20 years old. He's got a long runway in front of him. I really think he's got about 2 or 3 more years before he reaches his prime. But I don't want him to be pigeonholed in this type of in this space of the offense, right? Like he needs to bloom and grow a bit. I think with Trae being out, moving him to the second unit will allow his offensive game to expand a little bit, but it doesn't give him the defensive like assignments I think are necessary to help him grow and develop. And I really feel like we're repeating the same process that we had with Dre, right? Now, granted, Dre went through multiple coaching stints and he struggled a lot more with injury than Reach has. But just that kind of relegation to cutting off facets of your game in service of being a 3-and-D guy, I think is the wrong move. I think Reach, honestly, I think that's why you were comfortable trading Dre last year. Yes, the money had to do with it, but I think everyone saw what I saw last year of Reach having a lot of potential and a lot of game. And I don't think he's finding it right now with Naw being an off the dribble scorer, very similar to what you saw in Karis LeVert with a lot of your catch and shoot opportunities going to, I mean, for lack of better terms, every word, just keeping it real, a better shooter in KP who provides more of a presence. I think in that situation, crashing the boards or being a post presence in that would be helpful. But, most of it seems as though a lot of KP's threes come trailing. Big O, he's kind of accepted the role that he's going to knock down corner threes, wings, top of keys. Honestly, it's corner and wings. The top of key was like he maybe shot 2 of those, and maybe made 1. But hey, 50%. You got 50% 3-point shooter. Yeah, it's a Hall of Famer. But hitting those wings, like he's kind of accepted that role. He's not really banging down low, but he is super active down low. You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, his primary offense is coming from the 3-point line. A lot of his scoring is coming from the 3-point line, but like a good bit of his activity comes from being close and being around the play as it's happening. I just Reese hasn't had that IQ kind of spark yet and see that like, hey, this is how I get active in the game. This is how I touch the ball. And I don't, I'm not questioning his basketball IQ or his acumen or anything. It's just I want to see him more involved because like that's how he gets better. That's where he'll be better at. Getting into the divisional and conference standings. So we're 6th in the conference. Technically, we could be 8th in the conference. Wins and losses are, yes, they matter, but like everybody plays 82 games. So like during the stretch, you might play somebody who, we play 6 games. You play somebody who's played 8. You play somebody who's played 4. Just depending on like where you are scheduling the season and all that. So like right now, we've got the easiest way to do is just count losses. We've got 3 losses. That puts us around 6th in the conference. That's out of the play-in. That'd be beautiful. Be honest with you, I see us as a play-in team. Right now, Miami leads the division at 3-2. They've only got 2 losses, but obviously they only play 5 games, right? And then Orlando also has 3 wins, but they got 4 losses. So like top 3 teams in our division got 3 wins. Charlotte they got 2 or they got 3? I think Charlotte might have 3 too. Oh, give me one sec. No, Charlotte's got 2. Yeah, Charlotte's got 2 wins. And then Pacers and Wizards both got 1 win. Brooklyn's got none. The Raptors finally won another game. Knicks 2-3, Celtics 3-4. So like you'll expect some things to kind of even out. Right now, the Bulls like got 5-0. The 76ers with their young guns are booming right now. Yeah, Joel hasn't even had any like super breakout games or anything like that. It's just VJ and Tyrese going stupid. The Bucks, Giannis is on a super revenge tour. The Pistons, Cade is doing Cade things. And then, like I was saying, the Heat at 5, us at 6, Cavs at 7. They had the huge start to the season last year and haven't really done great. And then the Magic at 8. That speaks to what of our games this week? Our games this week are the Cavs and the Magic. Now, granted, I only did up to Thursday because I should be recording again on Thursday, and then I'll give you the full week going forward because we're going to get back on schedule around this piece, people. The Cavs traded DeAndre there last year. They have really good front court size. Spida is all-star. But they're just not coming together this year. They've let some get away from them early. I think that's going to be without Trae. That's going to be a rough game, but looking forward to it. And then versus the Magic, honestly, if we have the same offensive output that we've been able to put up without Trae around the 117, 120, you take 10% off because they are amazing defensively. That still puts us at 108. That's a lot for the Magic. That's a lot for the Magic. I'm not saying that they can't reach it, but like defensively, they are elite, but offensively, they leave a lot to be desired. So, yeah, that's all I got for everybody. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking out with me. As always, hit the DMs at BOF Media on all social media platforms. Please follow us, like us, hit that bell, subscribe so that you can always get notified whenever we go live. You hit me something, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna respond. It's been your boy Q City. I'm out. Peace.